Good evening. Yes. Well, I will start off with, first of all, thanking everybody for being here tonight. I know I'm a new face, Vice Mayor Bill Trevette. The mayor is actually under the weather, so please keep him in your prayers tonight and the rest of this week as he gets better. So I'm looking forward to seeing him the next meeting. So we'll get started. Let's see here. My apologies. I'm just trying to go down the list here. So if I'm gonna be looking down tonight, it's going to be down and up, and we'll hopefully get through this. Let's see here. We're going to get through the set the agenda as published. We have about 121 pages on the packet tonight. So if you'd like to follow along, we have the agendas on the far back corners. If you're online, we will also have those updated on the website for you, so you can follow along that way as well. We will go ahead and set the meeting. Let's see here. Next item is to set the agenda involved with the pledge. So we will set the agenda. If there's no changes, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. No changes. All right. So we will go ahead and approve the previous agenda for 11/28. Next item is to invocation and prayers, and it looks like our chief is here tonight. We got two of them. Oh, I didn't see the other one. So you guys want to draw straws back there? Are we good to go? Whoever's going to make it up here. Thank you, chief. And thank you, the other chief, for being here tonight as well. Didn't see you back there.
Our Father, we thank you for this day as we come before you with gratitude. We thank you for being a God of love who is always with us, even now. You never leave us or forsake us. Your grace has brought us safe thus far, and your grace will lead us home. We thank you for making each of us in this room, every person we meet, every citizen of this city, in your own image with dignity and infinite worth. We thank you for the calling you have given each and every one of us to be good stewards of your creation and to love our neighbors as ourselves. I thank you tonight, God, for your servants, our vice mayor, our city council members, city staff, and city manager. I give thanks for the way of service they have chosen to take up on behalf of all of us. And so we pray, dear Lord, that you would be glorified tonight through the decisions of this council. We pray for wisdom, strength, courage to do what's right and good for all citizens. May we put the interest of others above our own. May we act with love for the common good. And may we be good neighbors, recognizing your image in every person here. Bless those that suffer from loss and sickness, dear Lord. We ask a special prayer for our mayor, James Manis. We ask that you would put your healing hands around him, dear Lord, and ease increase his health. Bless those that stand guard and those that first respond in times of need. Forgive us sinners, dear Lord, in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, chief. Appreciate you. All right. Next item is to approve the minutes from 11/28. Do I hear a motion? Second? Any questions, concerns, or changes? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye for approval. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Go down to the next line item. So citizens' comments. We ask that all citizens keep it to a 3-minute minimum. We ask that you come up with your name and address. I'm sorry.
3-minute maximum.
Yeah, 3-minute maximum. Excuse me. So appreciate you. So is there any citizen comments?
How you guys doing? I'm Rocky Lee, 122 Sesame Street. Hey, guys. I just want to come out. I've been emailing you. I've been sending you all kinds of notes. I've got a time capsule. It's about this big and this big. I've been needing stuff from you guys. We're getting ready to bury it this month. It's for our 50th anniversary. So I need some items from you guys. Commissioner Hefner has brought me something. Nobody else has brought me anything. I need it. So I thought I'd come down here and look you in the eyes and say, I need it, guys. I need it. I need it from the department head and I need it from my commissioners. So if you would get together, get me some stuff. 50 years from now, well, I'm going to put this in the cornerstone of the new police building. And on our 100th anniversary, they can open it up and see what we were like then. Okay? Is everybody hear me? We're good to go. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
The second one, I'm sorry, I was at the last meeting and I left. I was here for the swearing in and I left. And I understand there's some questions that came up about the Kona Ice donation and stuff. I'm here to clear that up. If we got some questions, somebody want to ask, it's a real easy thing that we do at parks. And I promise you, nobody is prevented from doing their work, their due diligence. It's really all you got to do is register. We've got a list of 42, I think, food truck vendors. We rotate everybody in there. And Kona Ice that did, they made $10,500 a deal. They're the only ice or the ones that do retreats for the kids that have come out. They're the only ones that have asked us. They're the only ones that have registered to do that. It has been nothing to do with preferential treatment. Nobody has been turned away. So if somebody's out there and wants to do it, please reach out, get us, register. It's that easy, guys. But I just don't want somebody like Kona Ice, when all the good that they're doing, for any question to be tied to it. So that's my comments. I'm looking forward to y'all bringing me something. Yes, sir.
Did anybody have any questions or concerns from last meeting?
Everybody good?
Could you highlight, Mr. Lee, just some of the, the improvements that you guys have done over the last
Yes,
the
sir.
last
I
couple
was wanting to
days?
talk to you too, Mr. Juliet, about that. You want to tear down my amphitheater that we built by hand? We did. And you've been up there.
It looks beautiful.
It looks great,
beautiful.
does it not?
It
We put
does
about
look great.
$10,000 into that. So
Yep.
we're still working on it. But don't tear down my amphitheater, okay? We built that
No,
by
sir.
hand 20 years ago.
Actually, we're looking to see Commissioner Hefner up there dancing. That's what I was looking forward to. You know what I mean?
Hey, we
So,
got it solid now.
yeah.
We could get all of y'all up there dancing one time.
at one time.
Yeah, we can. We shorted it up, baby. Okay.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. Any other citizen comments? Okay, we will close citizen comments and we'll move on to commissioner reports. We'll start off with Commissioner Mullally, please.
I've got a list here. I left my roof off on my truck. He says Merry Christmas. All right. Let's see. Well wishes to our mayor, Mayor Manis. We really hope and pray he gets better soon. Tonight at 8:00, live stream. Justin's doing the 50th birthday celebration and on Facebook, live on Facebook. And where is he? Is that going to be on our TV too? Like the Channel 3 and Channel 6? Just Facebook? Okay. All right. And if you're familiar with the CDs from the July celebration that we had, it's an update from updated CD from that. Christmas parade, we had a great Christmas parade Saturday, and I'm really glad that we went ahead and did it, rain or shine. And I mean, after we were in the front, and after we came back around and parked and got to the platform, as soon as the parade was over and those horses finally got over the railroad tracks, and so we turned around to leave to go down the stairs, the raindrops started. I mean, it was perfect timing. But thank you to all the citizens that came out. It was a great turnout. All the participants in the parade, all the hard work that went into the floats. I think we had 80 or 80 plus entries this year. And for the first time, BPAC, Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, was in the parade. I think that's the first time. So I was glad that they got to participate. And I'm on BPAC, so I didn't get to walk with them because I was up front in the trucks. Which, by the way, a big thank you to Two Rivers Ford for loaning us the trucks for the parade, that as always, every year, and they're beautiful trucks. And also thank you to Rocky Williams for loaning BPAC, the vehicle in the BPAC entry, the vehicle. Thank you for loaning us the bow so the big red bow so thank you to Rocky Williams for that. I've got 2 different areas of notes. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. Also in the parade, my family was with me and my grandson got to ride along, so I was excited about that. Friday night was the tree lighting, and that was a great turnout. And thank you to Shiloh Baptist for hosting the event and all the songs that they led us in the prayer. And thank you to Needham's Nursery for the trees and the city for putting that on. That was a great turnout. And the food trucks, we ate supper there. It was great food. The police had their annual awards, police department. So congratulations to all the promotions and the recognitions. And I got to come for a short time to see that. And this Friday at 12:30 at Charlie Daniels Park, we're having the Cedar Creek Greenway ribbon cutting and official opening of the Cedar Creek Greenway. So everyone is invited to come out and participate in that. It's in the back of Charlie Daniels Park for the Cedar Creek Greenway at 12:30 this Friday. And I think, this coming Monday night, BPAC, we're having our Christmas lights walk. We have one every December, and it had gotten rained out on the 5th. So this Monday is for the rain out date. So we're meeting at Willoughby Station in the parking lot, the HOA parking lot at 6 o'clock. We're going to have singing and hot chocolate and cookies. So everybody come for that. And then at 6:30, we're going to start walking the streets in Willoughby and, looking at all the lights. It's a really magical time. So hopefully that won't rain Monday night. And I think I got everything. I think that's all. Yeah. And in the parade, thank you for my family and my friend Rachel as well for helping participate and throw out candy. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll hand it over to Commissioner Justice.
Thank you, sir. First of all, of course, you'll probably hear this at least a couple more times, everything that Jennifer said. So good job. You actually reminded me of some things as I'm writing down here, the things that I'd missed. So I want to talk about the great job, though, that our Parks Department, our police department, our fire department, every division in this city did in the Christmas tree lighting. I was a little disappointed because I have cousin Eddie syndrome. I don't know if y'all remember the Christmas vacation thing. I waited for them to turn the lights on, and I thought everybody was going to get sunburned by the lights when they came on. We didn't hear that nuclear sound, so we're going to have to work on that. But no, it was beautiful, and the way that our Parks Department set that up, Rocky Lee, he started out doing some really questionable things when he first started with the city of Mount Juliet, and he's just grown into this role. He does such a great job, and I aggravate Rocky because I've known him for about 35, 40 years, so we can't ask for a better parks director with Rocky Lee than we've got right now. Amazing human being and amazing love for what he does and for the people of the city of Mount Juliet. So I want to thank Rocky and his staff and crew. Our police department, the Christmas parade, I've been in, I think, maybe 18 or 19 Christmas parades. Out of all of them, I have to say this one was probably one of, if not the best Christmas parade that I have seen. From beginning to end, everything that was set up at the end of it, the way it was set up at the ballpark and leaving the ballpark and coming down to here, everything was, there could be no complaints. It was amazing. I do want to also say a prayer, keep our mayor, James Manis, in your prayers. I talked to him today and he is, feeling a little bit better, not up to the point where he wants to come in here and infect all of us, and we appreciate that. But he just couldn't make it tonight. Of course, our vice mayor, Bill Trevette, I will tell you that in 2 years of being the vice mayor, James Manis never got sick. In 2 weeks, I'm just going to leave it there. Y'all pick it up and run with the rest of it. But the big night is what we have going on tonight, and that is that December the 12th in 1972, our city was incorporated. It became a real live city. There are so many people, starting with NC Hibbett, Miss Jeannie Bess Hibbett, and Mr. Mayor Robert Bull, and all these folks that weren't able and can't be here tonight. they're all in our thoughts and prayers. David Wainick was in our parade, and he's the guy that kind of roped me into doing this many years ago. And his participation was so much appreciated with his family. So we're glad to see them. Tonight is special for me. I was 10 years old when we were created. The city of Mount Juliet was created. And in 1986, I think is when we were annexed into the city. We were told we were going to get sewer, by the way, in 1986. Then that happened in 2003. So government moves extremely slow. We figured that out. The most ineffective, inefficient way of doing anything is to let the government do it. We know this to be a fact. So we take what we have and we try to, we try to make it as efficient as we can. And we hope we're doing you a good job. Somebody likes us. We started out with about 1,200 people when we were created in 1972, and we now have 39,300 and some odd. And we are the largest city in Wilson County now. Those other people on the other side of 109 are smaller than us. In Lebanon people, I wouldn't say it. But we had it was a long, hard road getting up here. By the way, the rivalry is one that's supposed to be in sports. And then I'm going to leave you guys with a little tidbit that I learned here a few years back. The reason that our city is black and gold. Now, there's two things happening here. First of all, I've got some stuff from Miss Donna Grace Farrell that I'm going to be bringing in as a resolution, and we'll be adopting her version of why Mount Juliet is Mount Juliet, where the name came from. She did a lot of research, and we'll be getting with her, and then we'll bring that in as a resolution so that we can adopt that into the archives as the official, part of the record. The other thing is, the reason that we're black and gold is many years ago, prior to the city, and this is back in 1905 or something like that. The reason that the city of Mount Juliet has black and gold colors is because they decided they wanted to do sports teams. They want to start with the basketball team. Didn't have any uniforms, and back then they didn't have any money for uniforms. Somebody reached out, and lo and behold, Vanderbilt University donated the first uniforms to the city, or to Wilson County in the Mount Juliet school system, and that's where the black and gold colors came from originally. So there's something you can carry home with you tonight. You learn something. If nothing else goes your way, you at least got that. Happy birthday, Mount Juliet. I hope you all love it as much as I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Justice. I will hand this over to Commissioner Hefner.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. Ditto what everybody said, pretty much. From the tree lighting to the Christmas parade, Rocky, the Parks Department, PD, Hudson Pillar Insurance that sponsored the tree lighting. Just a fantastic job by everybody involved in it. Justin Beasley, I know sometimes he doesn't get a shout out, but I'm gonna give him a shout out. He did an excellent job. Saw him running around with the camera, kept it rolling. So capturing all those beautiful moments through the parade. I want to give a shout out to Chief Hambrick. Congratulations, 10-year anniversary, right? 10 years and 20 years. Yeah, absolutely. And 20 years serving Mount Juliet Police Department, over 20 years. Is that correct? Yeah. So congratulations on that big 10-year anniversary. We're very lucky and fortunate to have you. Want to say happy birthday, Mount Juliet. Absolutely. I don't want to leave that out. 50 years. Looking forward to the next 50. Yesterday was Stoner Creek ribbon cutting. So another page turned in that chapter of a disaster that started a couple of years ago. So happy to see that ribbon cutting take place. Those kids back in that school. At the end of the parade, I don't know if you noticed, there was somebody singing out of the fire truck. That would have been Chief Luffman. So not only does he dance, but he also sings, and he actually did a phenomenal job at that. So big shout out to Chief Luffman and his vocal performance during the parade. That was amazing. Just a little public service announcement. It is Christmas time. Do not leave Christmas gifts in your vehicle. They will more than likely get stolen. That is a common practice. I find myself doing it all the time. I hide them in my truck or my vehicle, and fortunately I haven't been broken into, but just please be mindful of that. And also thoughts and prayers out to the mayor and a speedy recovery. So with that, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Effer. Obviously, I'm going to throw out some dittos on there as well. So again, happy birthday to the city. We had an amazing party this past summer and looking forward to seeing what 2023 comes out to with Rocky and his team and everyone else that's out there. I seen Mayor Hutto tonight walking through here. Today's his birthday as well, so happy birthday to him outside of the city. This past week, we had many events, which was awesome for me and my family. We got a chance to, get a chance to meet all of our neighbors. Well, not all of them, but a few of them. Besides, the Friday night kickoff from the tree lighting, it just started off as a great weekend for all of us to the Christmas parade. I do want to give out some shout outs again, obviously to Rocky and his team for doing an amazing job. I actually got a chance to meet, actually have lunch with him and Justin today and heard some of the great stories behind the scenes. So to align with what Commissioner Justice had said, when everything looks so great, in front of the scenes, there's a lot of challenges behind the scenes. And I'll tell you, no one's seen it. This entire team did not miss a beat. So great job to them. Travis and the IT team. It was great to see these guys out there just keeping us in line, asking, hey, what do we do next? What's the next steps? And it was just great job to them. Mount Juliet PD for keeping our roads safe. We see a lot of, different cities, and there's always, there's that one chance of somebody not doing the right thing at the right time. And our PD team did a great job at keeping us safe as well as keeping the traffic moving. So thank you folks for everything you guys are doing. The Mount Juliet Fire Department. I don't know if anybody's seen Waldo, but we had a new ambulance that was in the parade, and it was not a float. It is actually part of our fleet. So great job to the fire department for all that they do in keeping our cities safe as well. Also, I think if our chief does not have any other careers besides dancing, running the city for the fire department, singing could be that third step. So hopefully he'll get a contract. Public Works, they tend to always get left out, but I'll tell you, there was a lot of debris on that road. And I mean, from the animals to the horses to all the candy wrappers and candy that the kids didn't like. So we all got to, I actually got a chance to drive back up it and see what candy was left on there. So we're all going to get together and hopefully, collaborate on what's the good candy that all the kids did pick up. Two Rivers Ford, thank you folks for, again, another great year at, putting out your investment and trusting your vehicles with us. Beautiful vehicles, and just what an honor to get into them and see all the new toys and gadgets that are in the trucks. That was pretty neat. Congratulations to all the winners for the Christmas Across Mount Juliet. I was one of the individuals that got a chance to drive around with some of the Parks Board committee on judging some of the commercial lights, the residential. I'll tell you, some folks really put some time and effort into their properties. We do not take it lightly, just, honestly going out, looking at all the beautiful lights, having fun. I even stopped and got some chocolate, or I think somebody got hot chocolate, some coffee, and we supported the local business here, Dunkin' Donuts. So thank them for staying out late for us as well. My parents did come into town from Ohio, from the north, so they drove down for about 5.5 hours. It was great to see them down. And then, of course, I asked my mom if she was able to check that one box off of her bucket list to be a part of a parade. So what an honor there. She says it was never on her list, but it was an honor to have my parents down. So I was hoping I could check that off. But anyways, let's see here. The Big Brother, folks, I'll tell you, this city gives out so much. And I'll tell you, there was at least 6 or 7 different emails I got put in, at least 8 or 9 phone calls of donating different, different committees, different, workshops for kids. And as blessed as we are, please, they've got the donation box over at the police department. I believe we got one here at the city office too, don't we? Or if not, Mount Juliet Police Department, drop it off there. Just because it's the season, we should be giving all year round. So Justin Beasley, great job, sir, at advertising. I'll tell you, for as big as of a crowd that we had this year, it just goes to show that, everything that you do for us by, promoting, uplifting, and encouraging everyone to come out. I'll tell you, great job to you. Thank you. We can definitely see the difference in all your hard work and dedication, hopping off the vehicles, running around, being safe, by the way. So great job to that also for, for me, that's recognizing that, but also great job to, everything you're doing there. Let's see here. Congratulations to all the officers and families on the recognition for the Mount Juliet Police Department. I was also able to, be out there for Commissioner Mullally and Commissioner Justice. Just what an honor to get around some great men and women that really look at this city as, not only their home, but also as, part of a family and also a team. So, we're a blessed city, have some safe streets out there. I will remind everybody that is here tonight to go ahead and grab the 50 s'more boxes on your way out. Just go ahead and grab, the s'mores for more, I think is what it's called. Grab those and continue on the prayers for the mayor and shop local, folks. We need to keep and continue to support those businesses. With that, I'll hand it over to our city manager.
Commissioners and those that are here tonight and those watching from home. And happy birthday, Mount Juliet. I'd like to give a shout out to all the citizens. The city was actually founded, not the City Limits Incorporated, in 1835. So it was around a long time before incorporation. But in 1972, a group of people decided to incorporate and make it a city. So thanks to not only them, but everybody since then, all of our elected officials have been commissioners, to their families for the sacrifices they made, the citizens, of course, the businesses, for people decided to make Mount Juliet their home. And there's a lot of people that had a lot to do with that, and it's very thankful. But thank you so much. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Rowan Frinsley family. He's a little boy that we lost a few years ago in the parade, and to all the people that gave to the toy drive this year. That's been very successful, so that his memory lives on. Every time I have a parade, I think of him, as I know everybody else does as well, and to see his family. And for all the people that participated in making it happen, of course, the Parks team, Rocky and his team in particular, and the Parks committee crew for the work that goes into that. I've done the parade a couple of years, many years ago. It's a lot of work that goes into that, a lot of logistics and safety meetings and things of that nature. And Rocky also has to do the 4th of July or Independence Day event every year. So it's a lot of work. So thank you to him and his team and Public Works, of course, police, fire, and all those. But when the parade ends, of course, as you've seen the fanfare and everybody leaves, there's cups and trash and all that thing. All those things are out about the road. That's when Public Works and the City Beautiful team, Mr. Marty Potts here on the end, comes in. And we can take a parade that's ended like that successfully, and you see all those smiling faces. And then the next day, you can't tell that it was ever here from all the wrappers. Because when you give out candy, there's a lot of wrappers. They did a phenomenal job of that. So thank you to them, because we like getting our city back looking nice again. But what I love most about this time of year, and I think we take it for granted sometimes, is those Hallmark moments, I call it. I think I sent the commission a note. It does my heart good when you love your city and you love your community and you look around and see people smiling and you're having a Hallmark moment on the corner of Mount Juliet Road with a clock tower and people are singing and having hot cocoa. And for me, Saturday, it's a very moving moment, because you're seeing all the people have a good time. But I got to have my grandbabies there, my 4 precious grandbabies, for the first time. And then I had my neighbor across the street, which I think of them as like an extended family, and their babies were there. That's awesome. And I think sometimes we take those kind of things for granted. Just about how blessed we are in this community to live in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Everybody says that, but there is something special here. So thank you, everybody, for that. I'd like to give a shout out to Rocky Williams. I know he donated the bow, but he'll be retiring. He's been in the dealership business for many, many years, most of his adult life. He's retiring. He sold the dealership, and it will become Mount Juliet Dodge Chrysler Jeep. So we encourage you to continue to patronize. All the employees will stay. The general manager will stay, but Mr. Rocky, we wish him well. We'll be giving him a proclamation on behalf of the city and our elected body. So thank him for everything that he's done. And lastly, but very importantly, I'd like to give a shout out to Miss Phyllis Robinson, who's here in the audience. I went yesterday to the, as many of you did, to the ribbon cutting for the Stoner Creek Elementary, and that was 3 years in the making, just like West Wilson Middle School. And you think of all that happened in this county, and we haven't forgot, because March 3rd of 2023 will be 3 years. And you're looking at a school that still hasn't been built. And that just shows you it takes a long time. So for all the parents and the children that basically have dealt with this over all these years that didn't get to go to school there, it takes a lot of work. So thank you to the school system. But the only thing that remains standing at the school site at Stoner Creek after that was the Phyllis Robinson Gymnasium. So it got a little bit of a facelift, and it was awesome to be in that Sue. So she's here, and I'd be remiss if I didn't give her a shout out. She taught there and educated there, as did Miss Jill Giles, which I think she's left, not in that school, but in education. Thank you for that and your many sacrifices. So we're blessed. Thank you all for allowing me a few extra minutes to talk. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We'll go ahead and move on into the agenda tonight, the unfinished business for the consent agenda items. I'm going to read through these a little long, so I'll do my best to get through them as quick as possible. Ordinance second reading, 8A1 ordinance, an ordinance to amend the preliminary master development plan for Project Joan Lee, consisting of 47.57 acres by rezoning the out parcel consisting of 6.3 acres from industrial restricted plan unit development, IR PUD, to commercial retail center plan unit development, CRL PUD, located along the Golden Bear Gateway and Athlete Way, being map 077 parcel 01.01 and map 78 parcel 004.00, 005, 005.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 6.0, 10.7, and 1018. Ordinance 8A2, ordinance, an ordinance to amend Part B of the Unified Development Code of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, known as the Zoning Regulation Ordinance of 2001 to 29, adopting October 8, 2001, as amended by amending the 2-102 general definition and Article 6 Commercial District Regulations, Section 6.102, used and structured to reduce an acreage and requirement from the 20 acres to a 5 acre for mixed-use sites and mixed-use building on properties front of North Mount Juliet Road, located in the Commercial Town Center, CTC, mixed-use development within a half mile from the intersection of the East-West Division and Mount Juliet Road, and revise the definition for mixed-use development. Ordinance 8A3, an ordinance of the City of Mount Juliet to amend the Mount Juliet City Codes, Chapter 28, Traffic and Violation, Article 7, Parking, Section 28-193, Regulations, Parking Violations. An ordinance 8A4, an ordinance to accept the donations from Kona Ice and appropriating funds to renovate the Mount Juliet Parks Department amphitheater. Do I have a second? Yep, that's all of them. I know. A lot of reading up here, folks. Is there any more discussion?
Just real quick, the 8A2, I voted against that as that's that one. To create the downtown district for changing zoning. Oh,
Sorry about
there I
that.
am.
There you are. Can you
Okay.
repeat that?
Yeah, just a note on 8A2, which is the zoning regulation amendment to create a downtown area, which I'm not opposed to, but I voted against that one at first reading only because it reduces the 20 acres down to 5 acres for the multifamily. But I understand the reasons for creating the downtown area. But since this is on consent, I won't have the option of voting a no for that. So the others need to go through. So because of that, I'm going to, vote to send everything through.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Commissioner Justice?
And thank you for bringing that up and reminding me also, 8A2 ordinance, and that is reducing the 20 acres down to 5 for the mixed-use sites in the middle of town. I've had some concerns, and I want to reiterate that this does not affect the overlay that we did for the West Caldwell property behind the Dunkin' Donuts and the Christmas place. I want to make sure that we're good with that. Is Ms. Hamlin here in the back? We restricted that area back there with that overlay that you created to go around that pie shape, if I'm not mistaken. And I want to make sure if we pass this, that does not affect that. And
Well,
that
that
is
was-
still protected.
That was for transient habitation, so that was for hotels. not for a mixed use, the CTC
For,
mixed
for what
use.
now?
For hotels. That was for transient habitation, not for mixed use multifamily.
Okay, so then we could turn around then and put multifamily back there then.
We could, unless you added a condition that that same overlay be added to this ordinance.
Well, I'm gonna have to take it off the consent agenda to do that, so. At this time, I would like to take that off the consent agenda and consider that separately if I could, please.
And that would be
8A2.
8A2. Is there a second? Thank you. All right, so we're taking that off the consent agenda.
So we'd be voting on the other
So it'll be-
items within the other three within the consent agenda.
8A1, 8A3, and 8A4.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Is there any more discussion? Okay, we'll call it the vote. All those in favor in approving the unfinished business for the consent agenda for 8A1, 8A3, and 8A4 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. It's unanimous. Okay, now we still have 8A2
Two.
on the agenda, and we were going to keep that separate. And are we going
At
to
this
defer
point, I
that?
would make a motion I would make a motion to accept that ordinance at this point off the consent agenda. Just need a second for that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
We had an overlay on the transient housing section that went in that area, which is West Caldwell. I think most of y'all remember that. And it was carved out a section over there that kept it residential and it kept it as it is. And I want to make sure that we're able to do that again. As Ms. Hamlin said, that would need to be applied. And I don't, Ms. Marchetti, is there a formal way of doing that? Or do we need to defer this meeting to get it straight, or can we just use that same?
And let planning weigh in on it. 'Cause
Okay.
You're going to be changing a lot.
Okay, so at this point, I just make a motion to defer one meeting.
Second. Any other more discussion? Okay, we'll call it the vote. All those for deferring 8A2 for one meeting, which will be, let me just double check the date on that. It will be January 9th, 2023. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. All right, we'll move on down to, let's see here, resolution for 9.1. A resolution to approve the purchase and sale agreement for property located at 620 Clemens Road, being 10 acres for 1.3 million for the Public Works and Engineering Department, and authorize the city managers to sign the agreement. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion?
Received an email from the city attorney today that we had entered into an agreement with Mr. Rowlett, one of the owners of the property, that we would not only buy this 10 acres, but it would give us a 12-month window and to purchase the additional 14.7 acres at a total cost of $120,000 per acre. So that's an additional 1.5, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I think your suggestion, Mr. Marchetti, was to do that under a separate contract rather than trying to include it into the one that we've got. Is that correct?
Two things under section 15 of the contract under consideration. Subparagraph capital E, within 1 year of closing this transaction, the buyer shall have the right to purchase the remaining 14.7 acres for $1,639,300. $1,639,300. We can leave that in. We're going to add a paragraph that this will survive the closing. Usually anything in a contract merges with the deed, so that will survive the closing. Plus, simultaneously, if this is approved with signing this contract, we'll do a separate option to purchase within 1 year from the day of this closing, giving us the right, not a right of first refusal, but the right to purchase it for that specific price. So basically, those 14.7 acres are going to be taken off the market for 1 year till our option expires.
So, and under what language will we use to amend this 9.1 resolution?
contingent on legal review, and we'll add that one sentence, basically what I sent to you today
Okay.
is what we'll add. And a separate option agreement to be signed.
So what I'd like to, at this point is to go ahead and amend that we would be, how we would say it, I mean, we would be purchasing the additional 14.7.
We'll be authorized this contract, city manager to sign this contract with the amendment, which I just referenced in section 15E, and also authorize the city manager to sign an option to purchase the additional 14.7 acres for $1,639 and $1,639,300 within 1 year from the day of this closing. So it'll be two separate agreements they're going to approve, which I sent you.
And right, I got that part, but that would be the amendment as well to the resolution.
Correct.
And I want to make sure also that option would be exercised and signed by the city manager at no cost to the city.
Correct.
So that would be the amendment that I would propose at this point. So
Is there a second? Okay. We still have some more discussion.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and go back to the discussion, if that's okay.
Hey, so I'm a little confused, so I need you to help me figure out something here. We have a resolution on the table, which is up right now, and that's to purchase the 10 acres for 1.3. And then we have a resolution on the table for 24 acres. So how are these going to work together? Because, for example, if I would like to go ahead and purchase the whole 24 acres, how is that going to work? And if anybody else does too as well, so how is that going to work if this resolution is the first on the agenda, only authorizing 10 acres? How is that going to work?
I'll defer to any of the commissioners. The resolution is approving the contract to only spend $1,300,000 at this time, plus an option within 1 year, if the city so decides, to go ahead and close on the 14.7 acres.
Mhm.
So they don't have to come back again. That's what 9.2, the ordinance is, to approve the total amount of money to purchase that 24.71 acres. Is that correct, Dana?
that is a budget amendment. 9.2 is, but it can only be exercised in the event that we purchase the entire piece.
Right.
My argument has been the whole time that we're not under the gun to create a budget amendment to purchase the additional, or the 24 acres, 24.7 acres. There's no reason for us to do that at this point because there's no plan been presented for the use of that property. So at this point, what we're trying to do is just get to the point where we can actually purchase this land and then protect it for the next 12 months, so that if we do decide that it's a good fit for what we want to use later on down the road, then we can do this. We can do it without a budget amendment being accomplished. We can actually just go through the budget process as we normally do.
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. Also, another confusion part is page 75 and 77. It's still got language in there of 3.7 million, 150,000 an acre, and page 77, the same thing. 75 and 77. So I'm confused on why that language is still in there. Pages 75 and 77, it's still got
9.2A.
language in there of 3.7 for 150,000 an acre. Granted, it's not in the sales contract, but it's still in the notes of
The ordinance.
in the ordinance. Yeah.
If we decided under 9.1, the resolution that we're discussing, to purchase the whole 24.71 acres, then we would have to take action on the budget amendment, which would include the comments you were making. Sorry.
Okay.
So at this time, we do not have anything on the agenda to purchase the entire 24 acres tonight. That's on this agenda.
Right. So that was another confusion.
Yeah, we have a budget amendment, but
Well, and also we would have under the amendment that I am asking for, that would also give us the opportunity to purchase that.
correct, up until the amendment, which has still not been approved yet. That's why technically it's not on the agenda yet. It will be though.
No need for it to be on the agenda until we ask
I
for the
agree.
whole piece
I
to be
agree.
purchased. So
I agree. I understand.
it's the process. This is what it is.
Any other discussion?
Option tonight is to purchase the 10 acres, and then we have the option within 12 months to purchase the 14.1 or
Which-
7. Yeah, 7. So I don't know how to say this. So really, if I wanted to purchase the whole 24 tonight, I mean, that's not even on the table. So
You can amend the amendment. You can attempt
Attempt
to,
to.
if you get a second,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, you can amend the amendment.
well, okay. I don't think it's going to pass, but I was just confused on how we approach that, I guess.
Well, as the last meeting, it was stated to have, the Parks Board and also the city, different departments to come back and give us some examples of what future plan use was. And I know that we did get some things in the email for some options out there. And I think it's just going to take some time for the board to review those. And then hopefully the next 2 to 3 months, we can be able to come up with a good base plan and then go from there.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, that's fine. And what Commissioner Justice is saying makes total sense. So if there's no support for the whole 24 up front, then, I mean, that's fine. I think it's only a difference of 25,000.
Yeah.
Thereabout.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
It's a difference of 25,000 now. And what we're talking about though, is that it would actually come down, the price would come down to 120,000 per acre if we do purchase the additional 14.7 within that 12-month period. So they're actually breaking it down to where we're getting a discount of $10,000 per acre if we do purchase it. But we've got 12 months to make a decision as to whether or not it's something we need to do. And land is like anything else. I mean, it's like going to Walmart or some place where you buy it in bulk. Obviously, you get a discount on it. So the more you buy, the less you're going to buy per piece or pay per piece for it. So.
yeah. And just so you know, one reason I wanted to go ahead and purchase the whole 24 acres is the cost of fill dirt, because the way it is now, it's got this gully on the outside of it, and the 10 acres is part of that gully, and it would have to be filled in. And according to what Public Works was saying, it was going to cost a lot of money to fill that in versus go ahead and purchase the whole 24 and use the dirt that's already there. So that was one of the reasons. So I just wanted to explain that. But if that's what y'all want to do,
How many millions? We're going to spend $1.6 million for fill dirt.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we stay on task here. We still have an amendment here. And I want to make sure that we stay on track. Is there any more discussion on the amendment?
No.
We're good? Okay. So the amendment is to authorize city manager and options to purchase for the land use for the 15E. Is that correct, Mr. Marquetti?
It's two parts. It's one
Yes.
is to approve executing the contract, which is attached with the amendment I mentioned earlier in section 15E, and also to authorize the city manager to execute a separate option to purchase the remaining 14.7 acres, said option to remain open for 12 months from the day of the closing for the total price on the additional property for $1.639,300.
I want to clarify that what we're saying here is that we're giving him the authority to purchase or to initiate an option.
Sign up.
But that is not giving permission to actually purchase the land, and that has to come back before the Board of Commissioners, whether it be in a budget amendment or through the budget process.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, so we have the motion. If there's no other further discussion, we'll go ahead and call it to vote. All right, all those in favor for amending the authorized for the city manager and opting to purchase for the closing of 1.69 million and also the 4.7 acres of for the past 12, for the next 12 months for section 15E. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Yes, yep. Okay, now we're back onto the resolution 9.1. And did you get all that down? Thank you. I know I was going to mess that up. There's a lot involved there and I don't have enough paper in front of me. So thank you, Mr. Marchetti. All right, so the resolution still to approve. So now we got to vote on 9.1. Is there a motion? Is there a motion for 9.1? Motion, second? Okay, any other discussion for 9.1?
Good, please. Mr. Barlow came in, who is our Public Works Director, and he's got a really good sense of what is needed 10 years down the road in this particular case, being his department. And he had asked for 8 acres, and we had put $1.6 million into the budget. So I don't want to point out at this that we're actually giving him 10 acres, which is 2 acres more than he needed to get him through the next 20 years at Public Works. And also that's with a discount at $300,000 less than what we budgeted. So I believe that's going to be a win-win all the way around. So congratulations, Mr. Barlow, for finding that land and us being able to work through that process to get this. That $300,000, by the way, is what the estimate for enough fill dirt to remedy any issues that might be. It was $300,000 is his approximate cost. So
Sure.
that leaves money in the budget for him to be able to go out there and fix those issues, without us having to buy the other 14.7 for landfill purposes.
Yep, I understand. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, with that, we'll call it to vote. All those in favor of 9.1 signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Move on down to 9.2, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget, an ordinance for 2022 to 32 to appropriate funds for the purchase of 620 Clemens Road, map 72, parcel 71.01, being approximately 24.7 acres from Charles and Jeff Rowlett and John and Floyd Fisher for the purchase of the expanding public works facility. Okay. We will withdraw that. Yep. Yep. Just want to make sure there's no die. Thank you. Just want to make sure we have it on the record. In a second. Yep. All right, we'll move on down to new business, consent agenda, new business, 11.1, an ordinance to amend the land use plan for the property known as 506, Lebanon Road, map 53, parcel 152, from thoroughfare commercial to mixed use. Okay, motion second. Discussion?
What I'd like to hear from those involved in the project as to the changes that have been made at the request of some of the members of the commission, so they kind of give us an idea of what's going on.
Nathan Quinn, 402 B&A Drive, representing the developer, 4-Star. We started out on this project. It was back in July, and it was about 10% commercial to 23-acre site and 120 single-family attached homes. And since then, meeting with elected staff and elected officials, we increased the commercial to 21% and decreased the density of the residential by reducing the front section closer to Lebanon Road to 79 single-family townhomes with 2-car garages. We also added villas to further buffer from the higher density townhomes to the commercial, and the existing single-family would have villas that would abut those properties. We feel that we're presenting a great plan. We think it's going to add a lot to the community. It's going to bring commercial along the Lebanon Road corridor. And I'm here to answer any questions that the elected commission may have. And one thing to note, by reducing the density to 99 lots from 120, we no longer have the connection along Green Hill Road, the one and only entrance off of Lebanon Road. So we no longer have any concerns with sight distance or turning conditions or lighting conditions along Green Hill Road.
I was looking, do you have any idea what the percentage that you lowered the residential density? Was it like 18, 19%?
Approximately, yes, sir.
Okay.
And I mean, we could have 7.9 acres per unit. And we're at 5.9, I believe, approximately.
And you're asking for RM8 zoning, which means it's technically it'd be 8 per
Technically,
acre.
it's a CMU PUD is what we're coming in under, but yeah, the zoning would be RM8.
Okay. So you're actually 3 less than the actual zoning.
That's
Correct.
correct. Mhm.
Okay. There are also some other issues that we had. I think they're procedural issues. We weren't able to get to planning staff, the reports. When they go out, they have to go out on a Wednesday. And that's when the public gets our notifications of what's on the agenda for the following Monday. And there were some things that they were working through, trying to get the plans to the planning staff for the upcoming meeting, which didn't have anything to do with you guys, but it came in on the following Thursday rather than that Wednesday. So I'm going to, whenever I see what they're asking their questions and getting more information, I'm going to ask that the whole thing be deferred. Give staff time to go through and review and work through the processes, make sure that we've got everything down that we need to get a good product. So I can turn it over to anybody else if they want to ask at this point. Well, that's not my motion at this point. I want to make for everybody to
Okay.
have an opportunity to talk.
Yeah, no, first of all, I do appreciate the changes that you've made. You took out the townhomes in the back and you put in 2-unit villas. So that does add a little bit more of a buffer there. Amenities, just feedback. I know we talked about the amenities. There's, I think, a pickleball court in there, some others. I didn't see, you don't have a clubhouse. Want you to consider that as we go into if this get deferred or second reading. So consider that if there's an area on there that would accommodate a clubhouse
Sure, absolutely.
for the residents to gather, and that would be nice. Outside of that, I agree with your suggestion on the deferral.
I had several things I was going to go over, but if it's going to get deferred, I'll just save it.
Okay.
Ms. Laley, one of the things I've learned is, I mean, even though we got a deferral, there's information that we might gain also from you asking your questions, and it may give them also a kind of a jump start as to getting us plans to approve. So I would suggest, I mean, you do what you want to, but I would really like to hear if you got concerns or questions. I'd like to hear them because it's kind of enlightening to me to hear what everybody else thinks.
Now, this is just the land use, right? Okay. Travis, can you put the first page of the map up there? Just so the people know what we're talking about. This address is 13506 Lebanon Road. If you know where the church is on the corner there at South Green Hill, what's outlined in red is the 23 acres that we're talking about. So we're talking about for land use right now, which is currently thoroughfare commercial. So really, potentially, if a commercial builder wanted to use the whole thing as commercial, I guess they typically could. I mean, other things would have to be considered. But anyway, if that were to happen, it would increase traffic by 7 to 10 times what a townhome project would consist of. So that's something. And then I was just going to let the people know about that. The rest of the stuff I has to do with the rezone and the plan itself. So
Is that it?
It was something. I just learned something right there. You said 17 times if it were 100%. Okay.
Any other things?
I'm good.
At this point, I'd like to make a motion to defer one meeting.
Okay. Second. I would like to go ahead
Go ahead, sir. I'm
and
sorry.
just kind of just add into a couple of things, just so we have it on record. Obviously, Commissioner Lilly, thank you, because the traffic is a concern of mine also on South Green Hills. I would love to see some type of road improvement over there, just because of the fact of folks are still going to be coming down South Green Hills to head, towards Division. So that is a concern of mine. Even though the roundabout's there, the light was just installed, I think, about 12 to 14 months ago, roughly, right there at South Green Hills, the light. So I just want to make sure that, that we can help, defer some of that traffic there. Also, just some of the water. So there was a couple residents that came in and they were really concerned about some of the water runoff. I want to be able to see what options we have there to be able to look at, making sure that we don't disrupt any other, the creeks, as well as runoff on other people's property. Those are two highlights that I do recall over at the planning. And also, I appreciate the board tonight deferring this, because I do want to hear from staff's comments, as well as the planning board also, to be able to, follow back up on some of their concerns as well. So we have that on the table there for deferral. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll call it to vote.
Motion and second. Yes, sir.
Motion and second. All those in favor for deferring 11.1,
One meeting.
one meeting, that would be until January 9th, 2023, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for being here tonight as well.
Thank you very much.
Yep. 11.2, an ordinance to adopt the preliminary master development plan and rezone approximately 23.12 acres of the property located at 13506 Lebanon Road, map 553, parcel 152, from RS 40 to CMU PUD.
Motion.
Second. Any other discussion?
Motion to defer one meeting, bring it in with 11-1.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor for,
Do you want me to go over my list now or just wait?
I mean, if you've got some other things, yes, I would love to hear them. So, I mean,
Okay.
I will actually hold up if it's okay with Mr. Hefner on his second. We're just waiting to hear what she's got to say on that.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Travis, page 2. All right, so this has to do with the rezone and the plan itself. And as you can see, the area that's outlined in red, this is zoning. Currently, it's zoned as RS40, which is low-density residential. And notice it goes all the way to Lebanon Road. And they're wanting a rezone to come in as a CMU PUD, which is a mixed-use plan unit development. It includes commercial on the front end and townhomes in the back. So I know that we had some people at Planning Commission suggest that we wait for the right development to come along. Because of land price, I don't think it's likely that we're going to see a developer propose to build 54 residential lots or whatever it might be, including all the way up to Lebanon Road. It just seems too expensive. I think we can all probably agree that at some point, this 23 acres is going to develop. What is proposed is what the landowner has agreed to this point, it seems. And I know that when people own land, we don't always like that they sell their land, but they have that right. And they have, if they choose to develop, they do have that right. The school letter, supposedly there's a school letter that was not in the agenda packet. It talked about if the schools, this is what, 3 schools, if they were able to handle the capacity for more kids moving into the area. So I would like to see that letter. Has anybody else seen it? No? Okay. So I did have some questions for planning. Jennifer, are you still here? At one of the meetings, Planning Commission meetings, you did explain, please explain comments regarding the 2,000 square foot for sale townhomes. I wasn't sure if I quite understood what you were saying.
Say that again.
Okay. At one of the Planning Commission meetings, you mentioned that sale townhomes were different, and then you mentioned something about 2,000 square feet. So
Identity Center
You were talking about amenity center. Okay, I
we
went back and
require
watched that 3
2,000.
times and I couldn't figure that out.
The multifamily design standards do not apply to for sale townhomes, for sale multifamily.
Oh, okay. Do we need to add a motion to specify that no one owner can own more than 2 units? I know that I don't see that included, other than a general statement that Gino had made during the October Planning Commission meeting. So is it actually in the,
Gino is reviewing those covenants and restrictions right now, but I would always recommend you adding that as a condition. I would not recommend, I would not make that condition myself as a planning director, but you
Right.
guys absolutely.
okay, well, when this comes back, then we can do it then. You had mentioned the lack of improved open space referenced in one of the Planning Commission meetings. Has that changed now?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had an opportunity to look at these plans as I just got them on Thursday
Okay,
afternoon. I am still concerned, as Mr. Hefner is, about the lack of amenity center.
all right, and then let me ask you this question. Would designating a spot for a future pool, if the future HOA, once it gets turned over to the homeowners, ever decided to put a pool in, would that be recognized as an improved open space?
It would be hard to recognize that as an improved open space currently for their current, for the current calculations, because it's not there. It's just grass.
Right,
But that
okay,
is a good suggestion. Actually, we made that recommendation on Hibbett Station, and they have since came to us within the past couple of weeks and expressed their desire to add a pool. So they'll actually be adding a pool over
Oh,
there.
okay.
And no homeowners have even moved in yet.
right, okay, good.
I think that on the district as well.
I think
The
so too.
district, they had an
District.
option based on the homeowners.
Okay. And then I have a few questions for Public Works. So since the density, and I know during the Planning Commission meetings, it was mentioned that the density was too high. So now that they've come down to 99, which puts them under that threshold of a second entry point, that eliminates the Public Works recommendation for the road widening, or does it? You could answer the question. Because I actually didn't figure out where the access point was on South Green Hill.
Yeah, so the access point as it was originally, when it went to the planning commission, it's just south of Woodlawn Drive, probably a couple of lots south.
Oh, that far
there.
back?
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's more on the south side. I guess I would point to a couple of things. One, our code states that anything that fronts a collector road, you have to bring your half of the road up to the collector standard. That's a basic code requirement that we've always had. Since I've been at the city, however, I like to take a more rational approach to things, and not, instead of building just half a road with half a lane, let's make it logical, and let's have logical improvements with logical connections. And so as our PUD conditions go, I try to make that to say, hey, if we need to improve South Green Hill Road, just for the portion of the frontage of this development, then that makes sense. Now I'll say this. I mean, when you have fewer units, you have less buying power to do the improvements with. So there is a trade-off of that has to come in there. I will say, from a traffic perspective, you've got this that's about 600 feet away from the traffic signal, the proposed access. If this is just reduced to one access on Lebanon Road, you're throwing all the commercial traffic, all the residential traffic on one access point. You can't signalize it because the spacing doesn't fit. So you're throwing everybody out to a high-speed facility. I think it's a very, very dangerous situation that we would be creating by just allowing one access point. I highly recommend having the access point reopened to South Green Hill Road. So that's, to me, I think that's a matter of safety, that we've got to have that in this plan.
okay. And for what it's worth, if the access point was going to be there, then I did support your recommendation for the widening
Yes.
from the access point to Lebanon Road. Do you know, and this is a county road, South Green Hill is a county road. It's not in the city. Do you know if South Green Hill is a designated and posted for no trucks, because I'm having that issue in my district?
No, we don't have it since it's a mostly a county road, basically from Mount Vernon Estates north. It's a county road, so we don't have anything posted because it's not a full city.
Well, we wouldn't
roadway.
but do you know if the county has
I
posted signs?
do not believe they have. No.
Okay. Yeah, because I was concerned with these construction traffic, if it's coming out on Lebanon Road, you know how they do with their GPSs, if they think they can take a shortcut down South Green Hill to Division and cut over, they're going to do it. So I was curious about the truck routes and how that would be enforced. But if it's not posted, then
Correct.
all right. Will there be a road surety bond issued or required for Lebanon Road? And then my question initially was for South Green Hill, but potentially I'll just include either or.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have anything for Highway 70. The only thing that we would have is a performance bond for the work. If they were to do like as proposed a turn lane for that work, there's a maintenance bond for that. But for construction haul traffic, it's a state road. Therefore, we don't have any requirements for that.
All right. If the access does connect to South Green Hill, and the construction equipment were to tear up the road, what would be like? I assume they would be required to fix it, but that's the question I was asking about the surety bond.
Yeah, generally speaking, so if you have a project that connects to a state route, we have or near a state route, we have them go to the nearest place on the state route. If we did, and this is all with the discussion with this commission, with a PUD, if you had a designated haul route that was on South Green Hill Road and we were to annex South Green Hill Road, then yes, we would require for anywhere that would be a construction haul route, they would have to post the construction surety. And if they did damage it, then they were responsible for fixing it.
All right. Travis, can you go to the next one? All right. See, I had to flip it so you could blow it up a little better. But across the top is South Green Hill, and you see that dark line. That's the length of the property. That's a multipath there. So I think there was some discussion that whether this road gets widened during this development or at some point it's going to get widened. Do you know how and the right of ways, which side that's going to go in? Because my question is, if they're required to put in that multipath and you're not sure of that, would that possibly get torn up later? So that's the reason I'm asking about that multipath.
Yeah, so I guess if it would have to be it'd have to be annexed into the city for that to go within the right of way. The county wouldn't permit it. But the other part to it is that's part of the reason why I would recommend any improvements that we have the development that they do it now due to South Green Hill. So if there is anything like that it would be done in conjunction, therefore wouldn't be torn up later.
All right. And there is a tree line buffer along the western side of South Green Hill Road. And of course, if that multipath went in, that tree buffer would have to go. But even if it didn't go in, at whatever point the road is widened, it would have to go anyway.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And I'll say this, there's a pretty good stream buffer right there as well. I think that's probably a challenge for widening the road, even just adding a center turn lane on the roadway. That poses a challenge. So there is some challenge to construction on that.
Okay. I have three major concerns. One is flooding to the south, which is on the right end. And you see where the townhomes are separated from the southern end, which is where the villas are going. So I'll tell you what, Travis, can you go to the next one? Yeah. And up there, all those lines, those circles line, that's where the detention pond is going. So my concern is the back part where the villas are, how, if you're going to raise that up, and then the people on the other side of that, the south side of that, my concern is flooding them. So I have a major concern with that. I have a major concern with the commercial area in the front along Lebanon Road not coming to fruition, because these are not commercial builders, they're residential builders. So that's a concern. And then another concern is rentals. And I know that we can put that in the HOA, but if this gets approved and they decide for some reason they can't afford to build it out and they sell it to a developer who says they want to put all commercial there or all residential, single family, and then they turn around and sell it to somebody like American Homes for Rent, that's always a big fear of mine. Not that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's just a concern. I didn't like the lack of parking throughout the residential area. Now, it's considered overparked, and what I learned was they have 396 spots, you said, but they also include that is 2 cars in the garage, 2 cars in the driveway, and throughout the whole area. And so my thought was, if somebody has a birthday party, where are the extra cars going to park? And in the southern part where the villas are, there is extra parking there, which I like. I would really like to see somehow some extra parking, especially around the pickleball courts. It doesn't seem to have any parking available for the pickleball. Now, there are lots of sidewalks in and out, so I mean, they could walk, but I really, even though it's considered they're overparked, I like to see the extra parking, as well. So things, sorry, this is long. Here's what I do like about it. Townhomes that are more affordable than single family homes that are on the market right now. So even though they're probably in the area of what, 350, give or take, it still could be more affordable than some of these expensive houses. I do like that the density reduced to 99. I did not have a problem with the 117. I do like the villas in the back, and all driveways now are going to be for 2 cars, and all garages now will be for 2 cars with no variance. I do like that. I do like the commercial along Lebanon Road. I like saving a selected area space for a pool if the HOA were decide to do one in the future. I do like the 100-year floodplain commitment by Joe Haddix. I do like that. So I kind of like the not connecting to Green Hill, South Green Hill, but Andy has a good point on that. So, and I do like the raised crosswalks that you have in there throughout. I do support planning's request to tying the commercial with residential, subject to CO completion request. I do like that to make sure the commercial gets built out. And, at certain points and whatever they has to, and that's up to them how that works out. But I do like that, because that way we can make sure the commercial builds out. And instead of having a bunch of townhomes with no commercial, we're just have a bunch of townhomes. And that's not what we're trying to accomplish here. One question I do have, let's see, can you go back to the other one, Travis, the one before? Yeah. See on the left where the commercial is and all that parking right there, that little vertical gray area is a buffer. So I was wondering if extra parking for a party or whatever, if they parked in there, if there's could be some sort of sidewalk to cross the buffer. And I don't know if you allow that or not, Jennifer. Just, where they wouldn't have to walk all the way down to the road is what I was thinking. So anyway, that's just an idea of maybe an extra walkway there. And the last thing is the voluntary impact fee. I would like to see more on that, and we could discuss that later as well. So they had mentioned dedication of the right-of-way along South Green Hill, but I would like to see more discussion on that. So that's what I had.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion before we vote on the deferral?
Real quick, I want to make a couple of points if I may. And I understand because I have the same concerns that you do about the commercial build out. At some point in time, though, you let the market take over. Some things we can't control. We want to control them, but we can't control them. So, when these people are building the residential over here and they're residential developers, and then they sell to a person who is going to build out the commercial over there, and then we don't give them any COs for their residential, there's people that are going to be sitting waiting back for that market to drop on the commercials. They're going to lose money. Not to mention they've got money that they have borrowed to put into this project, and there's a lot of that money went into the commercial side of that. So it doesn't make any sense that they would sit there and not build out the commercial to get their money back out of it. That's the market doing the work for us rather than us trying to dictate the market. So that part of it. The other part of this, and sometimes if you've been around a place for a certain period of time, like me, all of my life in Mount Juliet, spelling that again, Juyet, Juliet, and people who live in District 1, which is the people who would predominantly use South Green Hill Road. I mean, they're going to come from the east. They're going to the west to get on the interstate to get to Nashville. There's very, very few of us that want to go down South Green Hill to get to the interstate because we don't want to go down South Green Hill. We don't want to go down West Division Street. So the amount of traffic that is going to be going down South Green Hill that is coming from the east end is minute. That's just a matter. That is a pattern, and that is a fact.
Unless you're going to school.
Huh?
Unless you're going to school, Medjay Elementary.
I don't know anybody that drives that goes to elementary school, so I'm not worried about too much about that.
Everybody
And most of those
knows.
people actually come from Willoughby Station anyway, and over there in Hickory Hills area, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not going to be coming from my district. My district goes to W.A. Wright Elementary School unless they're going out of zone. So that's another issue. It's just not something we do. That is a traffic pattern that is in stone, has been since the beginning of time, back when we were herding cows coming down Lebanon Road. It was all gravel back then. So that consideration just needs to be taken completely off the board. It's not one. And I'm trying to see if there's notes. And by the way, thank you, Commissioner, because I did get quite a bit of information from the questions that you were asking, and actually it's prompted me to ask some more questions also. And now that we're going to defer this for a meeting, it gives me time to get the answers as well. So with that, I'll make a motion to defer one meeting.
Awesome. Is there a second? Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
We just
So-
need to vote on it.
So we have a motion to defer 11.2 for one meeting for January 9th, 2023. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I think we've covered all of our bases here. All right, we'll call it to vote. All those in favor for a deferral for one meeting, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. All right, next line item is 11.3 ordinance, an ordinance to annex into the corporate boundaries of the city of Mount Juliet, approximately 0.86 acres, property known as Smith Property, 690-694 South Rutland Road, map 96 parcel 32.11, and located within the city urban growth boundaries. Motion?
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and call this to vote. All those in favor for approving for 11.3, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Next line item is 11.4, an ordinance and adding 6 part-time firefighters, EMT, paramedic positions to the fire EMS department. I'll second it. Any other discussion on this? All right. I will say to the team that's back there that stayed around for this, just thank you, gentlemen, for all your efforts and continuing to improve our first responders. So thank you, gentlemen, for being around tonight, sticking around for this. We'll again call it to vote. All those for approval of 11.4 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's 4-0. All right, 11.5, resolution approving an escrow agreement in the amount of 25,000 with CSDG for Hickory Hills Phase 4 for payment to Water Management Services LLC for sewer. Is there a motion? I'll second that.
Question.
Is there any discussion?
Yes. I'm not familiar for the reasoning behind, I mean, Civil Site Design Group is the CSDG and Hickory Hills Phase 4. What section is the Phase 4?
Phase 4 is actually as you're right there behind St. Stephen's. If Mr. Barlow or Ms. Hamlin has an opportunity to come up, or actually, I think it's Mr. Barlow. My apologies. They both got up at the same time. Thank you, Mr. Barlow.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so this is basically for engineering teams that might be doing engineering for developments. They would prefer that the city's master agreement with Water Management Services, that we actually contract with them. They put the money in an escrow account, and then we contract with Water Management. Water Management then designs the pump station to our specifications. So it gives us some design control over what the developers put in.
If I may.
Sure.
The reason I'm questioning this, I'm trying to figure out why we are, it's an approving escrow agreement in the amount of $25,000. That is not money that is coming out of our budget, though. Is that correct?
No, sir.
Okay. I want to
That's
make sure that
correct.
we're not putting any money into a private development.
No,
And
absolutely
even I don't
not.
care how much control we have. We've got ultimate control over the sewer system as it is anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense. So just make sure that there is no money coming out of our budget going into this project.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Barlow.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Any other discussion? All right, we'll go ahead and call it to vote. All those in favor for approving 11.5 resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. And it looks like the last item on the agenda is the city, the City of Mount Juliet Board Commission will not be meeting on Monday, December 26th. We will be moving that meeting to January 9th, 2023. And we call it to motion to close the meeting tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and happy birthday and Merry Christmas and safe travels if you're traveling back and forth with family. Take care.